time is drawing to an end on the season, but there's still plenty of racing to go. And what important action we have here tonight. It is the Morbihibir presents the Miles the Monster 300. It is round 16 of the Svenska Eracingligan's Oval Series, and it is the conclusion of the round of 15. Tonight we lose 5 drivers from the championship race, which just leaves 3 remaining rounds for the season. It's been a long one so far. Since August of 2024 we've been racing, and we are yet to find out really who are the championship contenders. It's myself, Cam Roger, Ewan O'Leary alongside me, and Hugo Louise on the production of this RaceSpotTV broadcast as we bring you all the action from the Monster Mile here at Dover Motor Speedway. 187 laps of action coming your way, but with such a tight and frantic track, this could be quite something. We started at Auto Club way back when in August of last year, before working our way through a multitude of different tracks across North America before we get to the playoffs on that right-hand side. We had Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago, where, of course, we saw the one and only Jesper Eriksson taking victory and locking himself in to the round of 10, although to be honest, he was going to do that on points anyway, but that was just confirmation. We then have Dover now. Michael Haflidsson won this race last year on his way to winning the championship. Will that be an omen for whoever wins today? Set to be quite interesting. Richmond and Michigan will be our round of 10 in the course of April before we go to May, and Phoenix, Arizona for the final 5 drivers remaining in the championship. This is how we sit. So we have 15 drivers. 10 will go through after this race. So far, it is Tier, Holtman, Bohlin, Forsen, and Helmro. They are sitting outside of the cut line, but look how close the points are. Holmer, Holmbom and Schott just above the cut line, but only by a handful of points. So those 8 drivers really will be the focus for today. The likes of Forsen and Helmro, they really need a win, to be honest, to get themselves in the round of 10. But don't count out the likes of Fredriksson or Solo missing out as well, should they have a terrible race, and a few drivers behind get some heroic results as well. The top 5 or so, they should be absolutely fine getting through on the points. So really it's those 8 drivers that we will be focusing on today. But of course, as ever, on the tower you have the yellow names denoting the playoff drivers, so look out for them as we hit the qualifying circuit, Ewan. And already it is very tight, as you would expect, but this is such a crazy circuit to have at this time of the championship.
It is, yeah. It's very much a characterisation, actually, of the latter portion of this season. Quite a lot of short tracks in the final 5 rounds. In fact, 3 of the last 4 rounds are what you could describe as shortest tracks, I would call them. It's not quite Martinsville or Bristol, but it is relatively short here at Dover. Then next week, or 2 weeks, sorry, in Richmond, and the finale at Phoenix as well is a relatively short track as well. If you're not good at these circuits, you're going to find yourself very quickly in trouble in the playoffs.
Indeed, and here is Michael Haflidsson, the number 1 on the car, but only for 4 more races. He did not make it into the playoffs, and therefore he'll be losing that number 1 for next season, sliding his way through. Of course, has a lot of confidence around this track, subject to his win at this very track last year. And last year it was the penultimate race of the season, so it's the race that took us into the final 5. What momentum that was for his round. Is actually Oliver Bohlin, who came second place last year as well. He needs really a win today to really lock in, or at least a very, very good result, as he sits below the cut line right now. And we actually only had 7 drivers on the lead lap. It's a very tight track. A pit stop around here is almost 2 laps that you lose under green flag. So we will be looking for a lot of long stints today. Here's the grid though. Eric Blixt has got the pole with Jesper Eriksson alongside him. Oliver Wallen 3rd, and Dan Paples, that's the top performance for him, up in 4th place. Solo and Fredriksson will round out your 3rd grid for today. Michael Haflidsson is there in 7th, Audsen in 8th, Gunnarsson, Forsen, Schott and Holmer rounding out your top 12. And it's great to see we still have plenty of drivers attending at this point in such a long season. Eriksson, Broström, Leppert to Wallen, your top 16, before we have Holmbom and Holmer in the 2 teammates there on the 9th row. Lundberg and Auto are there in the top 20. Kenneth Uvenen in your top 22, then Pfeffer and Rudeber inside your top 24. Of course, Kenneth Tier there, P21. He needs a really good result, as does Helmbro as well, actually. P25, he needs to make up some good places today. Brostrom, Kinnell, Bratberg, Hogman, and Skoglund, I should say, in your top 30. Then Kjellberg is rounding out the field. So no Marcus Stiller lining up from the back. Hopefully he's back for the next round. But here we go. You're in 187 laps, stage on lap 80, but fuel for about 85 laps. So we should see everyone going to the stage in this first stint.
Certainly those who need the points at the stage here. You mentioned a couple of them as we were going through the standings, the likes of Oliver Bohlin, who I don't think actually does need to win here, but he certainly needs stage points. So does Edwin Forsund, and Peter Helmbro definitely does. He's 26 below the cut line, so he definitely needs stage points. Those are the drivers, and all of those who are just slightly above the cut line that we saw a few minutes ago. They're certainly going to be going the whole way in the first stage if we're green the whole way. I reckon though, the likes of Jesper Eriksson, some of the others, some of the non-playoff drivers, some of those that don't really need stage points, I reckon they're going to cut this race into thirds maybe initially and pit at around lap 60-65, because the tyres are going to be in pretty bad shape by then. I know that the time loss will put you laps down, and it is a bit of a risk to take if you haven't got a very big gap to the cut-off line, but it could really benefit you. You could get a huge undercut if you're out there for 20 odd laps on newer tyres compared to those who are going for the stage. Of course, cautions will throw that all into the air. I wouldn't expect, though, even with cautions, to see any pit stops before lap 17, because if you do pit before then you have to make another 2 stops before the end of the race, which wouldn't be very practical.
Absolutely. As you say, 2 full tanks leaves you 17 laps splash and dash at the end if we go green. So there's a lot of variance today. You have, what's that, basically 70 laps of choice with when you make your first pit stop potentially to offset. Very interesting indeed how this race is going to go. And it's been an incredible season, actually. Going to this Xfinity car, the tyre wear has been a big talking point throughout the season. With another delta, we're being told of almost up to 3 seconds a lap. That is going to be quite something once again. But the playoffs is continuing. It's the second race of the playoffs, the final of the round of 15. We will lose 5 drivers at the end of today. It's the Morbihibila Miles the Monster 300 here at Dover Motor Speedway, and we're going to go green flag racing as Eric Blix gets us underway side by side with Jesper Eriksson, who gets a great start from that outside line. He did not have control, but he did have the speed in towards turn number 1 and 2, and around the outside he's going to go to take the lead already. The 37, your championship leader, going to the front.
Already just stamping his dominance on this race by taking the lead here ahead of Eric Blixton. Oliver Bohlin was looking for the lead as well there in towards turn 1, by the way. Just having a little peek to the inside, but he couldn't quite get there. Dan Pebbles is next. Haven't seen much of him recently, especially up towards the front, but he is in 4th place among a sea of playoff drivers up towards the front at the moment.
Yes, very, very yellow up towards the front there. Of course, use the timing tower, but also the windshield and the rear spoiler as well in yellow. They are the drivers to focus on for the playoffs. But of course, non-playoff drivers, the likes of Hafliderson, even Pebbles there, are up in the top 4. They can have a strong race and take points of other people. Blix is going to be losing another place here round the outside. Oliver Bohlin goes. What a move that is. Blix not being too aggressive in these opening few laps.
And Eriksson just grabbed the wall there. Oh, look at that. Bohlin to the inside of 3 and 4. What an aggressive move. He needs big points here this afternoon, and he's going out. There's contact meanwhile for Pebbles. He's been hit by Solo. He's going to come back in front of the field.
Certainly is. We've got hoods flying everywhere. Multiple cars. Oh, that's Linus Brustrom, one of your playoff drivers involved. Also, Håkan Schott in the 101 machine. Various drivers getting involved. We've got Kinnell, we've got Gunnarsson as well, dropping down the way. That is a big crash, taking out some top names. Robert Eriksson also involved in this one. And of course, the caution comes out. Pebbles is out of the race. He's already back in pit road, getting some damage. And that really started with him going wide in 4, but was there contact in 3 that caused it?
I reckon there was. I think there was contact to start that all off. So who are the playoff contenders caught up in this? Linus Brostrom, we saw at the time. Håkan Schott was right in the middle of it, and he is coming into this race just 2 points above the cut line. He'll be in big trouble. There's the contact. It's Solo who puts Pebbles into the outside wall, and he's collected by everybody. There's nowhere to go on this circuit if you're collected. And have a look at that. Brostrom had one of the hardest hits in the middle there, but look at Håkan Schott just laid to rest next to the wall there as well. In the 101, he was pretty badly involved. I think they're the only 2 playoff drivers involved. Maybe Gunnarsson was as well, actually.
Yeah, Gunnarsson, that was one of the harder contacts, actually, so he's going to have some big damage. And let's see, this must be Broström on board. He goes to the right-hand side. He has to drop down left, but he's already actually made some contact with the 18 of Lundberg there, the grey and white car to his left-hand side. And when everything is happening like that so fast, I mean, there's just too many variables. It's so difficult to get through that cleanly. But that is a very interesting start to this race, because I think that is how it's going to go. It's so fast. I mean, even the straightaways here are banked. It is very, very cramped at this mile circuit. And I mean, we've got so many drivers. We've got like 11 drivers down pit road right now. It's going to be an interesting one to keep it on the lead lap.
Yeah, Daniel Holmer's got quite a long stop. Maybe he was involved as well. Holmer is only 9 points above the cut line coming in. So he needs to get out and get onto the lead lap here. Nobody's dropped off the lead lap yet other than Dan Paples, who might well be out the race. And I've got to say, it wasn't really his fault, the accident that was had there. Pretty unfortunate for him. Hagman and Skoglund and Kjellberg had scheduled, well, not scheduled pit stops, of course, it is a caution, but normal length pit stops, if you like. Everybody else getting damage repairs. Hakan Schatz had to spend 30 seconds on pit lane, although he does come back out again to get onto the lead lap. Jonas Gunnarsson's still on pit lane, while Holmer and Broström are already back out onto the circuit again. Is Gunnarsson going to drop a lap down here, along with Robert Eriksson, Joel Wallin and Thomas Kinnell? It looks like he does. So that's the first of our playoff contenders, one lap down here today.
That's tough. That is tough. Someone just making it out in time. That was Lundberg just beating the pace car. But yeah, really that is going to be not necessarily game over. It depends how the race goes on. But certainly a very tough day. We do have 180 laps still to go. They will go very quickly. However, once we get to green flag racing, 25 seconds a lap around here, as the pace truck brings them back to double file formation. We've had some good moves already. Wallin going up towards the front. Helmbro and Kenneth Tier, they've got themselves up inside the top 15, so 10 places made for those guys already. Just showing you how the order is going to change very, very quickly around here. We saw Jesper Eriksson from this very position 7 laps ago get the jump on Blixt in towards turn 1. Can he do the same to Oliver Wallin, the 72? Having said that, the Morby Bright Esports driver was looking very racy in those opening few laps before the caution came out. We're going to go back to green flag racing. The Mazda Monster 300 gets underway once more, and that's a much better start for the pole sitter this time around, as Wallin is unchallenged in towards turn 1. Blixt with a bit of a slow start. Solo, his teammate, is going to come around the outside of him as you get back up towards racing speed, and that is a Fredriksson as well. A little bit lower down than he would have wanted in the playoffs, but he's looking good up there in P5.
And there goes Eriksson to the lead. So Oliver Wallin has led the last 5 laps in a row. Now he's going to have to give up the lead. Is he? As Eriksson gets to the front, and he does get through. Oh, he hits the wall though, and Wallin's going to come back at him in towards turn 1 the very next lap. So Eriksson gets another lap led, but Wallin will get back down the inside. There's a bit of contact. We see now that can go badly, and Wallin does hold on to the lead.
This is going to be such a frantic race if they're being this aggressive the whole way through. Wallin is looking super, super strong, and Eriksson's been a bit shaky so far. Of course, he's got the speed. He hasn't fallen down more than that one position. However, he has been in the water a few times. He goes to the inside here to try and have a look up the inside, try and scare the 72. But this is just such a fast track. The corners are incredible. He's got the run. Coming down the back straightaway, though, in towards 3. The 37 goes up the inside. Wallin gives him the space. Just about almost some contact. Wallin's trying to hold it around the outside to pinch Eriksson. They almost make contact once more, but the 37 hits the front.
He does. And that was a good pass from Jesper Eriksson. If I was advising Oliver Wallin at this stage, though, to be honest, I would just maybe lay off this battle a little bit. With most of your contenders, I know he needs a lot of points, with all of his contenders, or a lot of the contenders, having trouble early on, he doesn't necessarily need to lead all the laps here. He doesn't need to try and sacrifice his whole race for the sake of 2 points. Just back off for the moment. As someone in the wall in the background there, by the way, that was Cedric Holmbom, who's in 10th place. Wallin, meanwhile, remains side by side with Eriksson through turn 1 and 2.
No one wants to give this up, do they? The 72 sends it around the outside. Can he get his nose down to chop off Eracingligan? He can. And the 72 is looking very fast around here today. And he's absolutely on it. Look at the way he's just, you can just tell from the body language of the car where he pitched it in there towards turn one. He's really got the confidence in the car, and he's already pulled away by a good few car lengths in just one lap. Looking so strong. In terms of the fastest laps of the race, we're now into the 23s in some instances, as the tyres are still holding on for now, but of course they will wear off as the stint goes on. We are expecting, well over 80 laps on the stint, as that is where the stage is. Haflidsson gets down the inside of Fredriksson there, the number one machine, trying to squeeze up in front of the 112. It's a little bit of contact, but Fredriksson keeps it out of the wall.
And Ericsson will capitalise on that now as well, although he backs off a little bit, being a bit nice to Fredriksson. I imagine they'll be quite nice to each other actually throughout the day, because they just need solid point scores, and they will be through into the round of 10 starting in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully this is now the start of what could be a nice green flag run here. Oliver Bohlin has won that fight for the race lead. How long he'll keep it is another question, but he's got it for the moment. Jonas Gunnarsson, by the way, to give you an update, still down on pit lane right now.
Oh, that is not good news. It was a big hit. And that's a big shame for the 33. Of course, your champion a few years ago now, but unfortunately, he just hasn't had the luck that he would have wanted this season, running out of fuel back at Iowa. For instance, there was a couple of times he was involved in some incidents as well that maybe weren't his fault, and that is just another one to add to it. So it isn't the 33 season. He's not going to be the champion you would expect in this situation. But let's see, oh my word, we're going to see a change of the lead again. The 72, I thought he had that one covered at the front, but the 37 gets back through.
He does. And Waller's coming back again. So I thought that was done as well, but these two have got other ideas. That's contact. Ericsson not quite staying right to the bottom end there of the third and fourth corner. That is a legitimate line, by the way. He's not trying to shepherd Bohlin out on purpose, although it probably was a little bit. Ericsson is now under pressure again from Bohlin. Through he goes on the inside. This is bizarre in some ways. They're just exchanging the lead between the two of them.
It just shows you how easy it is to make a mistake, and how the slightest of mistake, it just costs you a couple of tenths, but that's all the gap is between them, so then you lose the position. It's wild as Ericsson goes into the wall a little bit on the exit of 4, so this opens up the door to Solo, who's looking very strong here in P3. Haflidsson is coming through, so he's got his way through. His teammate Blix now is dropping back. There's a little bit of a gap, over a second now, between third and fourth place. We've also seen some movers of Bohlin in the 27 machine. He was a little bit further down in qualifying than he would have wanted. Now he's working his way up into P7.
He is needing these points as well, is Bohlin. That's a good start for him to have. Side by side behind him, Janis Lepit and Alexander Alsen. Driver of the 24, by the way, seems to be taking things very cautiously early on, and who can blame him as well for that, because of the racing that we've seen early on in this race. Notably from these three. The fact that Solo's putting a bit of pressure on Ericsson here just seems to be relieving Bohlin a little bit now.
Yeah, although I thought this about 5 laps ago, then they swapped around, so it's going to change rapidly around here. Do not expect the order to stay the exact same for multiple laps in a row. Is that already a lapping situation that we're going to get into as well? We're just 24 seconds lap. We are going to be seeing some drivers on the bubble of lap down. So that is Håkenschott. Eric Lundberg, of course, involved in that opening yellow flag. We've also actually got Brewstrom not too far ahead of them as well, who might be getting involved. So if they go a lap down on raw pace, that is not going to help their situation anymore.
Yeah, we'll see what the traffic situation is going to be here, because it could be one of those bigger ones. That's contact. Lepit down the inside of Forsen. Lepit, not a playoff driver, by the way, and Edvin Forsen won't be very pleased that he's been made contact with there. He'll get the run off of 4 and he'll keep the place, but that was pretty close.
That, I do not know how that was not an accident. Crazy stuff between the pair of them. It was a very late dive from the 50. They've got some traffic in front of them. We've got Håkenschott without a hood, looking like a proper hot rod as we come through 3 and 4. This is messy. This is really messy. We've got Holmer in also trying to get up the inside of Lepit through 3 and 4. Slide in the rear end they go. He's still got that inside line. A little bit of door banging as we come in towards the turn 1, and he's managed to make his way through up into P9.
Yeah, so Schott's got all the damage repaired that he could, but he's a bit of a wounded bird out there at the moment. He can't really go very quickly, unfortunately. Last time around he's in the 27s. I know it was traffic, but even so, that is pretty slow compared to what you'd expect to see from him. Linus Brostrom's next up to be lapped, by the way, so another one of our playoff drivers who could be in a bit of trouble. Although Brostrom and Gunnarsson are involved in the opening incidents there, I don't think they'll be in trouble as far as the point situation goes, because there's only 30 here. You might actually score quite decent points even if you finish down the pack.
Yeah, it's very true. That's why you just got to keep going, especially if you are driving need of points. Just see what happens. If we have another big crash, someone like Gunnarsson taken out once more, one of the big names, that could change your night and your season very, very quickly indeed. As we got, of course, Lundberg down pit road. He's been there for a little while, getting some damage repairs after going that lap down on the raw pace, which makes sense. He did have the pace to keep up with the leaders. As we look at the back end of the top 10, this is Holmbom in the number 10 machine, but he's in P11. As it stands, he's got quite a few teammates around him, the Sim Race Sweden Academy cars. As Leppert looks to the inside, we've got various different lines working out through turns 1 and 2 there. I wonder if the tyres just starting to hurt a little bit, and now we're going to see drivers just using some different lines as the pace slows down. We're already about a second a lap off the pace, or just about there.
Yeah, and we've still got 160 laps to go, so a very, very long way round here indeed, and that's why you're seeing some of these guys take it a bit more cautiously than others through the opening part of this race. That was Holmbom having a look down the inside of Jonas Leppert that time round in towards turn 1. Couldn't make the move, and he will just sit there. Holmbom certainly looks like he is just sitting there at the moment and watching, observing what's going on up ahead before he's really going to start to move through the field a little bit later on in the day. Although, as having said that, that wasn't very cautious. He's just scraped the wall off of turn 4.
Yeah, it's too easy, isn't it? Oh, look at Leppert. See the body language of that car there, just sliding up the road. He was trying to turn, but it's going to get very, very slippy out there. It's a sort of characteristic of this car as well, and it doesn't help with a circuit like this. We're seeing some moves inside the top 10. This is Araton in the 24. He's trying to get past the 27 of Fortune. Down the front straight away, they've got Fredriksson and sister teammate Fortune right ahead of them. Side by side, we're going to go for another corner, but the 24 slides his way past. It seems like the low line is better in that situation, as we've now seen the 37 also go to the lead. Bohlin gives him the room off turn 3 and 4.
Is he going to get the exit there? Oh, what a slide from Jesper Eriksson there. He just catches it off of turn 4, but he's not going to be getting any exit speed with that. A real moment of opposite lock from the driver of the 37. And Bohlin coming under pressure for the first time, really seriously, since he took the lead and has been leading laps. Now he's had about 15 laps in a row, by the way, out front. Eriksson now putting some pressure onto him.
Yeah, Eriksson is pushing very hard this race, surprisingly, considering his situation. But I guess a win is a win, and let's see what happens. Side by side we go once more. Up the inside, Bohlin is holding it to the outside. We've seen, though, you do have to back out of it. The wall comes very quickly on the exits of 2 and 4, and he has to back out of that one. 37 hits the front once more here on lap 32. Coming up to halfway in the stage at lap 80 today. So plenty of time still to go. Brostrom is up ahead of him for the Morby Bright Esports. That 71 machine is looking anything but straight. Very wonky on the front there. He's going to be losing a lot of time with his very damaged car after being involved in that wreck earlier.
Oh, that does look horrible, doesn't it, actually? All sorts of out of shape on the front end, and he's going to take no pleasure in being overtaken now by the leaders, and he's not going to drop out of the playoff places. You wouldn't have thought. It would take an absolutely major shock for that to happen to the driver's second place. But there we go. Meanwhile, 3 wide. Eriksson went very wide, Bohlin through the middle, Solo to the inside.
I thought Solo was going to make that. He probably did as well, but not enough. So that batting at the front is bringing some drivers behind into this battle. So the gap that we had between 3rd and 4th place is now almost non-existent. Haflerson has bridged that gap, and we are now seeing Solo making some moves as well. So he's got to 2nd place, and his Alcantech teammate Haflerson is now into 4th position. So the Alcantech cars are coming. They've been so strong. They've even got their teammate Blixton behind. There's 3 cars inside the top 5, and looking very strong once more. Just a shame we didn't have them all throughout the season, otherwise they might be going for the team's championship this year. Oliver Bohlin is really having to defend now, the 13. He hasn't really been involved so much this race, but now he's going for the lead up the inside. He's going to go. Can he make it stick? There's a bit of traffic on that outside line. It is the teammate of the 72 though, so they should be rather kind in that regard, but it squeezes up the inside. Ericsson's going to get through here as well, potentially, as Bohlin might lose 2 places.
He's on the inside, Solo, and he's going to lead his first laps of the afternoon by the looks of it. So Daniel Solo to the front on lap 36. Bohlin's now led 27 laps, by the way. The reason I'm keeping on top of that and telling you about it is because there's an extra couple of points that he might well need if he leads the most laps. He's already got some for leading a lap, of course, but he might well get some more if he leads enough. Here comes Ericsson, though. One of those drivers trying to prevent him from doing that. In towards turn 3 and 4.
He certainly does. What aggressive move there from 13. He goes up wide, keeps out of the wall. It maybe even gets a little bit of a push there from the 72 down the front straight, squiggling all over the place as he tries to keep the rear end in check. I mean, these cars are basically just floating around. The rear end is not fully connected, and the drivers can feel that. They have to really be careful with the throttle, and that's the main reason why the lap time drops off throughout the stick. You've got to be very careful. Indeed, as we come on to lap 39 already. Once you get these green flag runs, the laps do go very, very quickly indeed. Such a short circuit.
Yeah, it is, and it's quite rare that the laps get clipped off so quickly in short tracks in this series as well. The short tracks we've had so far this season, the green flag runs really haven't been very long. At New Hampshire, we got 75 kilometres without a caution at most. That's the equivalent to about 45 laps around here, by the way. It's about the same at New Hampshire. At Iowa, we got a nice run to the end of the race, but before that, only 26 laps or so. That's only 35 kilometres, which we've already done here. So we're doing better than what we had at the double header at Iowa. And if anyone remembers Bristol as well, that was a very caution-filled race. Maximum green flag run there was 50 kilometres. That's already been passed as well, I think, or it's about to be, in this green flag run. So you really don't see this very often, and it's a phenomenon we've not seen very much of this season, to be honest. Short tracks and long green flag runs, as there's another change for the lead.
There certainly is, and yeah, we've had a caution-filled season, that is for one, but when we get green flag racing, it is great to see, because we love green flag pit stops as well. That's when the strategy really comes out, and it's actually the reason, for instance, why Brewstrom won back at Iowa, because he ends up staying green. They managed to save the fuel and get to the end without having to do an extra pit stop, so very interesting indeed. Ericsson hits the front, as you say. We now have Solo in second place, Wallen's dropped to third, and it's now a 5-car battle as Happenson and Blix really are there now. So the batting at the front has slowed them down just a little bit. We have a 3-second gap though to Fredriksson in behind. So they're coming off to turn 4. They're not really within a shout just yet, but there is a big battle in that second pack though, with some very important positions. Absolutely. We will keep an eye on that bottom rail for the top 10, especially in the second portion of this opening run, because it's a battle for points back there, and some very important ones as well for some drivers who desperately need them, like Helmbro actually, who's just knocking on the door of a top 10 for the moment. But it is a front 5. Oh, Ericsson, all sorts of out of shape there. What was going on there on the straight? He was almost grinding down the wall, out of shape in towards turn 1. Now he's trying to hold on for the lead. Solo's going to have the inside run as he come towards the next turn. He's going to have that inside line, the 37. He wants his lead though. Look at him pushing on that outside line. Often today, that hasn't been the way to keep the position, but he's done so as he goes up towards the barrier. He's just about kept it in line, but Solo is going to have to back up this one. That's going to open the door to the 72 to come all the way around the outside, back in towards second place. So once he was looking at the lead, now he's in third place. The margins are so fine around this circuit.
Yeah, it's short track racing. If you try and make an overtake and it doesn't come off well, you will be shuffled to the back end of the train very quickly, or at least a bit further back. And that's what happened to Solo there. Luckily, he's got his teammate in 4th place, who maybe didn't punish him quite as keenly as somebody else might have done if they were in 4th. That's Michael Flitterson in the number 1 car, as you say, taking on his 4th last race in the number 1. Although it doesn't quite work like that in over racing. It seems you can have number 1 whenever you like. So he might well decide to choose it next season as well. But he's currently 4th, just in behind his teammate. And Blitz very much staying with them as well. 46 gone now in the race. We're over halfway to the stage.
Yes, we certainly are, and the laps are pounding down around here. A bit of an update on the lap time. We're now approximately a second and a half off the lap count, so we are going to be towards that 3 seconds a lap slower by the time we get to the end of the stint. That is quite something, considering, you know, if you look at the track on a track map, you're like, oh, it's 2 easy corners, but the fact that you can lose 3 seconds just shows you how fast these corners are in reality, and the drop off on the tyres is quite something. It's been a big challenge for the drivers to learn this year compared to the next gen car last season. And it's certainly been a big strategic difference as we see this battle. This is Eracingligan, who had a strong result at this track last year, and he's trying to do something. Goes up the inside, really pitches that car in force and going wide, going very high, but the 24 not quite alongside just yet to make the move there. But can he get the run down the back straightaway? Not quite.
I'm surprised he's even trying, to be honest. Eracingligan at the moment, 29 points above the cut line coming in. Forsland is at 13 below it and could do with the help, to be honest. He's currently running in 7th place, and being attacked by Eracingligan is certainly not going to help, you wouldn't imagine. Johannes Leppert is next, and then it's Lucas Holmgren. Then there's a small gap back to Peter Helmbro, but it's not a large gap at all, and that will be the scrap for the final few points in the field. The drivers we haven't mentioned so far today, by the way, who are involved in that fight for the cut line. Marcus Holmgren currently running in 15th place, has been around there for the whole of the day, and Kenneth Tier just ahead of him in 14th. They're both below the cut line right now, coming in today by 2 and 3 points. You'd think they've got a chance, but they're missing out on a good opportunity here to score stage points. They're nowhere near it at the moment.
Yeah, that's a very good point. As is little things like that, when it's just a couple of points here and there per position, a little thing like that, like stage points, that is going to be a big change potentially in their result. But that just shows you how tight it is in this championship. We do have Peter Helmbro though. He's worked his way up to P11. He needs a bit more than that today to get above the cut line, but from the back of the grid, well, not quite the back of the grid, but pretty low down the grid, I think it's P25. That is a lot of positions made so far, and definitely want to look out for. It's in the background, goes into the barrier. That might have actually been Helmbro, maybe not. It might have been actually the 95 going into the wall.
I think it was the 95 passing the 1, because Fliddiston was in the wall, actually, off of turn 4. That's what I saw anyway, into that corner. Here's Eracingligan and Forsland into 3 and 4. Evan Forsland right round the outside. Should get the run here, but this time around, Eracingligan's making a better fist of this. As they go over the line, they are locked together, but Eracingligan's got a chance here on the inside. Then Forsland will get the run again on the outside. They're absolutely locked right now, it seems, and Leppert is just waiting and watching behind to see who's going to prevail. Forsland around the outside does get the place.
Certainly does. These guys are fighting so hard for this position, but it hasn't changed much. They've got a big gap up ahead of them, so it's Fredriksson leading this train, and there's a big gap up ahead to the top 5. So realistically, they just want to be going as fast as possible, and that is not battling. There is Dan Holmer as he goes wide, lets his teammate through, as the top 2 have a little bit of a gap now. So Solo has dropped off just about half a second, but that's quite a lot of distance around this track. Look how fast they go into that corner. It's the distance really increases, of course, with the speed, and all this is Fredriksson going wide. So Eracingligan is going to get through on Forsland. Can he get through on the other Simrace Sweden car down the back straight? No, he has a terrible run actually off 2. Forsland has the momentum, working through 3 and 4. The inside line is doing a great job for the top. Contact is made. The 112 is going to go round. He takes out a teammate. Got Leppert involved as well. Caution comes out. Unfortunately, the 24 keeps out of the wall. I think the 27 does not, as it's the second caution flies on lap 57.
Oh, and it's not over. So the 43 car goes for a big spin, trying to avoid, and they get away with it. Now they've got to get on with it, because the leaders are going to come through, and they're going to take some positions if they're not careful. They're going to go a lap down, rather. That was really well timed for Dan Holmer, by the way, who, as he said, just went a lap down. Only 9 points above the cut line. He will get the free pass back onto the lead lap.
Indeed, and that is going to help him remarkably. There's the pace truck as they try and work their way around to catch it back up. Let's see what happened. It's the I would say it's the 112 coming down a little bit. I mean, the 24, he was right close to the apron, holding a pretty steady line. Yeah, it was Fredriksson who came down squeezing and just by a couple of inches didn't have enough space to do so.
Yeah, I think you're probably right on that one. And Fredriksson will certainly argue that he shot up the inside when he shouldn't have done. Meanwhile, the 1/3 of the race mark is about to be crossed, and so that means it's a very good time to come into the pit lane, and everybody agrees.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to stay out either. The pace drop-off is remarkable. If you stay out, you're just going to be overtaken. So everyone is going to be coming down pit road. Very busy indeed. Just make sure you hit your marks and have a clean stop. As we see there, is that the purple car of Gunnarsson still out there in pit lane. He's been there for 24 minutes now, bless him, as that's not the way they would have wanted his race to go. Of course, we have the is that a change in order potentially as well. We have to double check when they come out of the field, who is going to retake it up towards the front. And yeah, it looks like the 24 has got out ahead of Ericsson.
Ericsson didn't seem to come in at all there, and so what's he done that for? Not really sure why he's decided to stay out, because that seems like a bit of a suicidal thing to do, really. He has he's prevented a few people from going back onto the lead lap again. He's actually trapped Edvin Forsland a lap down. Forsland came into pit, I think perhaps before where he should have done actually, but he's come into pit lane. Hackenschott doesn't want one of those laps back. Instead, he wants a longer period down on pit lane. He had the chance to take the wave around there, but he needs the repairs more than his lap back, and that looks like it's just about going to be it. So we should have 19 cars on the lead lap, although some of them should get their lap back again, maybe. Although, as I say, I can't really explain why Ericsson has decided to stay out. Here comes the wave by with lots of drivers going back around past the pace car. Forsland not one of them though.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. It's not actually too often that we've seen this. A little bit of a messy situation as everyone's going to find their way, find their position. As you say, Forsland going to the back. I think I'm right in saying, didn't he pit one lap early than he should have done, because he was a lap down, but he probably didn't know that, maybe because of the spin? That was a very interesting one.
Not really sure what's gone on here in this safety car. I just seen the drivers do behind either. That's a right mess going on at the back end of the train there. Nobody's seemingly quite sure where they're supposed to be. Which makes it a bit more confusing. Just 19 on the lead lap. Edvin Forsland, one of those who is in the playoffs, who's one lap down along with Linus Prostrom. Hackenschott is still on pit lane. I think he's going to bite the bullet and he's just going to get his repairs done.
Yeah, perfectly timed. There's lap 60, the stage comes on lap 80. We have 20 lap sprint to the stage and some important points in this playoff. The Miles the Monster 300 gets underway. Big left hand down there as we try to see the restart at the front. Ericsson with those older tyres gets absolutely swamped, as you would imagine, and the 37 retakes the lead. And it was actually absolutely terrible for Ericsson. Did he forget to pit? He's going way down the pack, just showing you how important the tyres are around here.
Yeah, what he was doing there in that caution period is going to take some explaining. Not a clue what he's been doing, because he's only going to drop through the field. He's already going to be outside the top 10 here as the field get racing again. Haflissen and Blix, battle for fourth place. Haflissen holds on to that position. Can Bohlin get back past Ericsson here in a similar way to what he did at the start of the race? He was good on the short run initially. Can he do it again on lap 62?
Oh, weaving on the front straight, Ericsson. He's so keen to get this stage victory, well, any victory, to be honest. As the 72 is coming up in behind. Someone who's actually gained quite a bit from that is Helmbro. He's up into 6th place now. A driver needing result. We're in the wall as we come in towards turn number 3. Didn't quite see who that was. There is a driver up high. I think a driver a lap down, letting stuff through. That is Hackenschott without the hood on his car. The top 3 are pulling away once more as we've seen a bit of a gap form between Solo and Haflissen.
Yeah, it's much like the start of this race, where the front 3 are split more apart than what they were towards the end of that stint. And that is indeed Hackenschott going 4 laps down now for him. A real disappointment in this race for the driver of the number 101. He's surely going to be out of the running in this championship, the way things are going at the moment for him. as we go back to the sort of bottom end of the top 10. Kenneth Tier trying to get into the top 10. Marcus Hoban and Cedric Holmbaum have been able to, which would be disappointing for him. They're both involved in that fight, of course, that Tier is very much involved in, only 2 points away from the cut-off line coming into this race.
Yeah, those points are going to be very fun to work out as the race goes on. But we are, of course, approximately a third race distance, so still a little while to go. The green flag runs, though, I would expect are going to be somewhat long until we get a bit of a wiggle from a driver causing some issues. There is Helmbro in the 77 machine up into 6th place. Just losing a couple of car lengths to the Ilkatech cars right ahead of him. He's got Blix and Hafliderson just ahead of him. And then we have Fredriksson, who's just in behind. He was leading this train previously, but Helmbro's jumped all of them somehow in that stop. He was behind all sort of the 5 cars there. And actually, Marcus Hogman as well, he's made up some great places in that number 12 machine as well. So it's definitely the day for some big moves both ways. Because, of course, we've got Gunnison down pit road still.
Yeah, he is going to be biting his nails off and wondering who can get ahead of him here in the points, because he is 30 above the cut line right now, but if a lot of the others have good days, then it could get tricky. Janus Leppert down the inside of Hagman in towards 3 and 4. Hagman's going to use that opportunity to get around the outside, in fact, maybe even up Cedric Holmbaum. Not quite, as we now cross the line another time. 12 to go until the stage points. It really is time to get into the top 10 and start thinking about getting some of those points.
The thing is, there's only 10 places and there's about a million cars on the screen. It's crazy how tight this battling is. They have not spread out much since we got back to green flag racing after that second caution, and everyone is trying to squeeze themselves forward. Look at this, left going to the right as they work their way down the inside. That is Leppert on Hogman, the 50 on the 12, side by side, both the red numbers as we work our way down this back straight. That's Leppert trying to get up into P9. I think he's made his way through, and so is all. Contact. Can Hogman save it? No, he's going to be made contact again. Caution surely is going to come out. It does, and not the worst crash in the world, but enough to just open things up a little bit more, as there's going to be another wave around there for someone. I think Forson kept himself at the top of the lead lap.
That is very good news for Forsland, as well spotted. He's going to get the free pass. This is unfortunate for Hagman. He was hit there by, who is that there? Is that Tommy Alto in the 10th place? Yeah, so Alto there should have been down low, really, on the low side. Hagman gave him more than enough room, but it just looked like it was a bit tight in towards turn 3, and he just went straight on, basically, into the side of Hagman.
Indeed, yeah, pretty conclusive one there. As we come back, no one will go down pit road again, of course. They've just had those fresher tyres on. With a 2-stop race, that therefore means 3 sets of tyres. You only have 4 as a limit. Therefore, you want to save that final set in case you have a late caution or something like that. So I don't see why the Ilkatech cars are dummying, but I don't see why they would take it already after just 13 laps. That would be, putting all their eggs in one basket for it staying green later on, but I don't think we're quite going to have that. So a bit of a sit rep. The top 3 actually haven't changed for pretty much the whole of the race, but there are some bigger moves behind, the likes of Helmbro jumping up there. Holmbaum as well inside the top 10 now, and also Tommy Alto. We've got quite a few drivers down pit road, Ewan, actually. So we've got Araldson, we've got Holmer, Bjorn Broström, that is, Marcus Hogman. Quite a few drivers taking the stop this time around. Yeah,
Holmer, Uvinen and Hagman are interesting ones, because they did take tyres last time, although Marcus Hagman will need some damage repair. That did have a pretty hard hit there, so he will need to get that repaired. Araldson and Broström, though, didn't take tyres the first time round, so you can understand them coming in. Just watch out for them on this next run. The tyre wear's pretty severe around here, so they will have a bit of an upper hand over those who are ahead of them. I'm not sure whether they'll have enough of an upper hand to get into the points, but Forsland is 15th here. It only takes 5 overtakes and he's gaining points, although he will have to make at least an overtake a lap.
Yes, that is very true if he wants to get up inside the top 10 for now. But actually, that was Arondson's first stop of the day. Hogman's third, apparently. Arolsen's first. Crazy how that's sort of changes around so quickly. So Arolsen did 73 laps. Of course, he just chose it wrong, didn't he? He should have stopped at the previous caution, but that isn't obviously how it worked out. As the drivers fan out, get side by side, and ready for the green flag. It's going to be a very short run, isn't it? It's going to be 6 laps in total to get ourselves to the stage.
Yep, and pretty important as well. Oliver Bohlin is going to at least hope to stay in the top 3. That would be at 8 points for third, 9 for second, and 10 for first. If he can stay up there, Peter Helmbro starts the day 26 below the cut-off line. He desperately needs as many as he can get. He starts in the top 10, as does Cedric Holmboom, who starts the day just 5 points above the cut line. Now, with Hagenschott actually dropping back, then he's got even a bigger safety margin over the rest, but he would like some of these stage points, and they're all only 6 laps away from getting them.
Yeah, stage points can be so crucial, depending on how close the cut-off line battle is. And at the moment, it's very close indeed, just a handful of points separating 3 or 4 drivers. We're going to come back to the green flag racing, but this time it is the 37 getting us underway. He's got Oliver Bohlin on his outside. It's a good run actually from the Alcantec cars, just behind Ericsson as well. Not a good start for Bohlin on that outside line. It's going to be a move up the inside. No, Bohlin just able to hold on as we work our way into the first couple of corners, and the Alcantec cars need to separate themselves and get into a single file formation to chase down the top couple of drivers. It's a quick run here. Look at the drivers making moves around P10, P11, trying to get up into the points.
Yeah, so it's not actually much happening inside the top 10 right now, and it's right that cut-off line where it's all going on. Holmgren and Tier look like they're pretty close. Tommy Alto side by side as well. Kenneth Tier needing some of these points as well at the stage break, but he can't quite get it for the moment. He's 11th. Forsland's not moving forward particularly. In fact, he's going backwards. Brostrom and Arolsen have passed him on this restart as well as we cross at the end of lap 76. A caution would end the stage at this point now.
And Alto needs to be careful, because the battle between P11 and 12 is always the awkward one, because they just slow themselves down, and then neither of them have the opportunity of getting up inside the top 10. Holmgren and Leppit, they battle. Holmboom gets past Helmbro in the background as well. We see drivers get into the wall. They are really starting to push the limits. I think that was Leppit as Tier gets up inside the top 10.
Very good pass from Tier on the inside line. Slipped through quite easily, actually, on the inside line. So he's going to get at least a point. That will help him on his way because he's right around that cut-off line, as we know. Holmgren's going to be looking over his shoulder as well. Helmbro surely will be as well, because he lost a place to Holmboom not so long ago. Now he's under pressure again. There's a look from Holmgren into turn 3.
Yeah, one spot, but another point, and that is why they are fighting for it. Oh, big slide from Helmbro. Does he have the momentum coming down this straightaway? We're on lap 79, just 2 miles to go before the stage. It looks like it's pretty nice at the front, but in behind, these points are important. Helmbro, he's made some good moves already this race, trying to hold on. He might just lose his position as Holmgren confirms that place.
Yeah, that's another position lost, and here comes Kenneth Tier as well. Helmbro is being pushed even more into a must-win situation, not mathematically, but almost realistically. Blitz now down the inside of Flidderson for 4th place. Is that going to help Fredriksson or Holmboom get some of these points as we're on to lap number 80? It looks like Ericsson's going to take another stage.
And just a couple of corners to go. Ericsson is going to get the stage unless he makes a mistake here. He's being pushed. Oh, Bohlin into the wall. He's trying so hard to get the stage win. He almost wrecks the car, but Ericsson gets the stage win from Bohlin. They pushed each other 2 seconds away from everyone else. They were fighting hammer and tong to try and get that stage win. In behind, look at this carnage as the Alcantec cars are a bit of a bottleneck.
Did Tier get that point, or did he lose it at the line? He's now 11th, but was that passing towards turn 1, or was it just after the line? Well, that is, it could be quite important. You know, you might be wondering why I'm fascinating so much over 1 point, but it could matter for Kenneth Tier whether he makes it or not. So of those who are close to the cut-off line, Oliver Wallin's got 9 stage points from lap number 80. Cedric Holmboom got 4. That's pushing himself further into safety, actually, although he's not safe by any means yet. Peter Helmbro got 2 points, and I think Kenneth Tier got that last one, although it was very close with Leppit.
Yeah, that was one of those things where it changes so quickly. I agree with you. I think it was into turn one rather than before the line. So that is a very strong point for Tyr if he is indeed confirmed with that. We'll have to just double check that a bit later on. The moves continue though. As ever, we stay green flag racing in this championship. Bohlin goes to the front. Ericsson is dropping back though. So there must have been some contact somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure there was. The pace he was going at there, Ericsson, that was not full racing speed. And so there must... Yeah, what is he doing there? And there's caution flies for something else.
Yeah.
Tyr.
Oh no, Kenneth Tyr, we're just saying good words that he was able to get that point, but maybe it's not going to matter. He's wrecked the car, front end damaged. There's no other cars around. Was that on his own or was he tagged from the back? No, it does look like he was tagged. I think that's the 111 of Bratberg. They go side by side on the straight. Big contact as well. That car's going to be in the pit lane for a long time.
And surely that's the end of his hopes this season. Having said that, a lot of those around the cut-off line are in trouble so far today. So who knows? 102 laps to go and... Oh, there's all sorts of dummying for the pit lane, but it's okay.
Certainly is, and we'll use this opportunity to get some messages from our partners. We'll be back in a moment. Back to green flag racing we go here for Miles the Monster 300, and let's see how this one works as we're already getting aggressive in towards turn number one. Solo trying to make some moves, a 37 round the outside. These guys, the amount of get, but they keep on going out. Huge contact to the inside there from the 72. He comes up wide. Hafley is going to have to go wide.
That is huge for Bohlin. He just got sort of shoved to the inside there by Ericsson, who's now under pressure by Solo, and now Daniel Solo takes the lead in towards turn one. That's 3 lead changes in 6 corners to start this next run.
Oh, absolutely. These guys just do not give any inch, do they? They're going absolutely for it. Solo, as you say, has taken the lead, and they are going flat out here at Dover. We're going to work our way down this front straightaway with Eracingligan now trying to obviously defend from Bohlin. That's allowing Solo to get away by a car length or two, looking so strong. Is there going to be damage, of course, on that 72? We'll have to find out what his pace is like. It looks pretty good so far, though, as everyone is staying stable behind.
Yeah, so under 100 laps to go now in the race. If you're wondering why everybody didn't pit last time round, by the way, even after a relatively long green flag run of 25 laps split across two parts, it's because they weren't able to make it home on fuel. If this race goes all the way home, then there's no point pitting in then, because you'll waste an extra set of tyres later on, fueling up just like everybody else has to. So effectively, at the point when everybody pitted last time round, there were still 127 laps to go. Expect to see everybody in at around 60 or so to go. If not, they might well just run the tanks dry and hope that a caution comes out so that they can avoid making a green flag stop today.
Yeah, I think they're just going to go as long as they can. Having said that, they're being very aggressive and not looking like they're being cautious at all. As the 37 goes to the inside, the 30 of Solo, he goes so high there. That's going to allow Ericsson to get up the inside. Having said that, he slid on the exit of 4, doesn't get the momentum that he would have wanted. But as we go towards turn 1, centre down the inside line, Solo goes unbelievably high once more. He's going to have to sort of come down very quickly to open the door for Bohlin, close door for Bohlin, I should say. But the 37 hits the front once more as the battling never stops.
Certainly doesn't. And Jesper Eriksson leads yet another lap of this race. Looks like he is going to take those extra couple of points that Bohlin really could deal with. Going into this next part of the race, if you add all the bonuses they've got at the moment, Hacken-Schott is just 1 point ahead of Kenneth Tier and Oliver Bohlin, who are tied. Hagman's only 2 points below the cut line as well, so that's where we are if you discount the road positions and just look at the bonus points that they've all managed to get over the course of today so far. It's all still very close as we look at Holmgren versus Aracingligan here for night. Don't forget, Aracingligan's got fresher tyres than everybody here.
Yeah, this is a very important car, this 24. So he stayed out a couple of cautions ago on old tyres. He got absolutely freight trained. He then made his stop at the next caution when others didn't. And therefore, as you say, Ewan, he's on the fresher tyres it's only about 15 laps, but that is enough to make a difference. And now he's trying to come back through the field. He's already up inside the top 10. Remember, he would have been at the back of all the drivers on the lead lap, and he's already up to 9th place.
He is doing a decent job, and he's a bit lucky that the caution came out in the way that he was hoping, but he's still had to do the business afterwards, and here he is going down the inside of Cedric Holmbaum for 8th place. So he will continue to just take these positions and extend his margin, although Holmbaum's not going to go down too quietly. He's going to fire back in towards turns 1 and 2. Aracingligan will go around the outside and do just sneak back through again into 8th.
Certainly will. Great battle in here, and I think he's going to be able to slide his way up one by one. He's just going to have that extra 1/10 of a second coming off every corner. And in the background, we see drivers going to the wall. That was Holmbaum that time around in the 10 machine. Dives up the inside of Helmbro, the 77, who's still looking strong up there inside the top 10. And as you see, Aracingligan just off the exit of turn 4 was able to drive past Helmbro. Off the exit of turn 2, gets past Fredriksson. So he's looking very, very strong for the Morby Bright Esports entry.
He certainly is. As we watch these guys in the top 10 run single file, we're just about to get onto lap 100, by the way, in this race. Well over half distance now, and Jesper Eriksson is still leading by about half a second or so. Kenneth Tier is officially a retirement in this race, by the way, so we can write him off, I think, for the championship this season, which is a real shame to see, but it looks like he's going to be written off because we've got contact and a caution in the background.
Big hit. That's the 50 of Lepit. I mean, he went off stage right very, very quickly indeed. Must have been some big contact, you would assume, or at least that the reaction was very big. He is continuing on, though. which is surprising. It was a big buff into the wall. Lap 100, caution comes out for another time of asking, and let's see how this one happened. It's the 27 of Forsen. I mean, Forsen is right on the apron there, but I think that he was coming in quite late. We'll have to see just how the entry of that corner went, as to how far behind he came from.
Yeah, it looked like he came in pretty quickly there, Forsen. He's up to 11th now, but he's not made friends there with Jonas Leppert, who's made pretty hard contact with the outside wall, but doesn't seem to be too bad. Seems to be still running at least. So we might well see pit stops here. This could be the last caution where they can pit and make it home on fuel. But do they decide to come in? Oh, yes, they do. Solo there. I'm not sure whether he actually got Ericsson to pit or not, but Solo dived in late. Bohlin stays out, very interestingly, and he's being hung out to dry here. Forsen's going to stay out as well. Even Ericsson, who didn't pit that long ago, is in.
I am not sure about this one, but let's see how it goes. So this is as long as they would realistically want to go. So that is why it was a little bit of a late call, because it wasn't a slam dunk, everyone come in now. It was let's see what the leaders do. And in the end, Ericsson went for it. Bohlin, unfortunately, potentially for him, stayed out, and he's on 43 lap old tyres. He is going to go to the back of the pack very quickly when we get to this restart. He's going to lose a lot of time as the drivers come out of pit road. Forsen is out. He's just 16 lap old tyres. But this is going to be an interesting one. Any big movers up the field? Let's have a look as we come out of pit road. It looks like the order is fairly stable from what you would expect.
It looks like it. So we're going to see Oliver Bohlin take the field to green again here at the front of this. I can't really justify this staying out, to be honest, because, you know, if we have a 40-lap green flag run, for example, Bohlin could end up pitting under green, which would be a huge disaster. And you know, I don't really see the downsides of coming in that time round. Yes, you've got the limited tyre sets, but you are only limited to 4 sets. They've still got 1 sat in the pit lane. They can still reach for an extra set of fresh tyres later on if there's a late caution and they want to change tyres again. So I don't really see the disadvantages of pitting that time round, really. I'm surprised not everybody came in.
Yes, although it was only a couple of good drivers who stayed out. I would like to see a replay, but I think Bohlin was just too late reacting. To be honest, it was it was as late can be for the 37 and the 13 triggering everyone to come down. So maybe just missed the boat, but he is going to go backwards. We saw this from Ericsson previously. Simply when we go to green flag, he's not going to be able to put the power down. He is going to be even overtaken into lap 1, turn 1, I should say. So very interesting decision. Whether it was on purpose or not, we will have to find out. But there's a long way still to go in this race. But in theory, the guys from 3rd place onwards can get to the end, whereas Bohlin and Forsen do need to make a pit stop. The pace truck comes in, and the Miles the Monster 300 presented by Morbihibila is going to be coming back to green flag racing. The 72 actually gets a pretty decent start, but the 27 does not. That second outside line is so slow. They weren't able to get up to speed very quickly at all. Around the outside, the 37 is going to go. So much more grip. The number 1 as well is going to follow him through as he come down this back straightaway. Bohlin Forsen's almost outside the top 10 already. Around the outside, Solo goes. Just no grip for the 72.
Yeah, Bohlin better hope for some well-timed cautions later on, because he's going to need to find another way to use that extra set of 4 tyres that he saved here by staying out on 40-lap old tyres for some reason, even though they were within the window which you can pit and make it to the end. That seems to be a bad decision for Oliver Bohlin, and it could cost him a place in the round of 10 as well. We'll see later on. At the moment, he's safe. Aldson's round is outside for 4th position. Meanwhile, even he came in, don't forget, in that last caution. Aldsson had been out for way less time on his tyres, and even he thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, Alton's strategy has somehow worked out, so maybe Bohlin will get that, but it all depends on the time of a caution. Helmbro goes down the inside now of Bohlin, who's going to be dropping down the way. He's going to be outside the top 10 very, very quickly indeed, as someone else is Fredriksson in the black machine is also following through as well, so this is not good. Up towards the front though, Haflidsson hits the front for the first time. He won this race last year in a big fight against the likes of Jesper Eriksson at times, and now let's see how this one works out because he's hit the front again.
He's leading for the first time today, and the first time we've had a non-playoff driver lead today as well. That's 5 different leaders we've had. I've lost count of lead changes, but we've certainly had 5 leaders, and the number 1 car is the latest of them. Bohlin, meanwhile, overtaken by Holmerin now. He's dropped to 8th place. Holmbom gets past him as well. Bohlin down to 9th. Here comes Alto on the way towards 3 and 4. He's not quite alongside to have a go this time round. Forsund down to 13th already. There's only 20 on the lead lap. It's not unimaginable that these two will be 19th and 20th pretty soon.
I certainly agree with that one. Alto up the inside, 87 machine sent it. That pushes the 72 wide, so Blixt has to squeeze his way past as well. That's a little bit awkward, as in towards the next corner it is going to be easily outside of the top 10 now for Oliver Bohlin, as that is, I think, Wildeber trying to get up the inside and work his way through. So this has not worked out at all, as we keep saying, for the number 24. Side by side for the lead we go. The 37 up the inside, the number 1. These were the championship rivals last year, and what a battle they gave us all the way to the finish. We have Haflidsson coming out on top, but this time it's Eriksson putting his mark here on the track.
It's side by side up to the line, and Eriksson retakes the lead on lap 110. So another good lead change for Eriksson. I wouldn't like to know how many lead passes he's made actually here today, but that's another one of them. 76 to go when we get to the line here. We're going to tick off these lap times very quickly, and Bohlin now is only 30 laps away from requiring a green flag pit stop. He has got to hope for a caution before then.
Yes, definitely. I mean, he needs to, A, pit under a caution, for one, but then he also just really needs to rely on it being sooner rather than later, so he doesn't drop down too many seconds behind. Haflidsson dives up the inside there, retakes the lead, so this really is a track that's unreal for racing. I mean, how many passes have we seen? It has not been a static, boring race at all. It's been one of the more entertaining ones of the season, to be honest. Of course, you get a few cautions coming here and there, but the on-track battles as well have been quite something.
They have. It's been absolutely brilliant to watch so far, this one. Has so much drama as well contained within it. 3 of our 15 playoff drivers involved in an incident really early on in the race, in the first 5-10 laps of this race, immediately sending the likes of Jonas Gunnarsson backwards. Kenneth Tier later on has been into the wall after a good fight to get into the top 10 for the stage points. He's going to be out of the championship this season. Hackenschott limping around 9 laps down, trying to get the points he requires to get into the round of 10, although it's looking very difficult because the likes of Oliver Bohlin are having very good days and have got a lot of bonus points so far. However, having said that, he is no longer inside the top 10 as the final caution, the most recent caution rather, has really sort of spiced this field up, put people all over the place.
Certainly has, as Blixt is the meat in the sandwich of the SimRace Sweden Academy cars. Loads of his rival teammates around as they work their way down the front straight away. Now Blixt has been so strong, probably one of the strongest drivers actually out of the Alcantech cars this season, since they rejoined halfway through, with just enough time to gain the points needed to qualify for the playoffs, and they were able to get 3 of the cars here inside the playoff, and now he is fighting for this, but he's down in 9th place currently. But look at the train of cars ahead. It's going to be very easy for him to jump up some positions. Here's the first one, number 10 of Cedric Holmbom. We haven't said that, the 10, he holds really good speed on the outside line and can just about defend from him.
He does. This is right in the midfield here, not where you'd expect Eric Blixt to be particularly. Should be safe as far as making the round of 10 goes, but what about the race result here today? That's what he'll be focusing on at the moment. There's the little look from Holmbom, looking down the inside of Holmerin in towards turn 1. Was it a slight bit of defence from Blix maybe? It's not worked. Blix has now got the run on the back straight. Through on the inside, he goes into 8th.
Yes, he certainly does, as he just about holds on to it as well. It's crazy how you send it down the inside. It's in the background. Seeing drivers in the wall. I think that was Wildeberg maybe, or Auto, one of them, into the wall. And yeah, crazy. You send up the inside, you get the move done, but then holding the line on the exit of the second corner in the sequence is so difficult. And we've seen drivers almost lose a position there, but it's worked out for that 95 as he works his way up. But I mean, look at the amount of cars ahead of him. But he's only 3 seconds off the lead. They spread out very quickly around this track, but in terms of seconds, he's really not too far behind.
Well, yeah, it's only 25 odd seconds around the whole circuit, so it's not a very big track at all. As we know, Monster Mile, as it is. Through turn 3 and 4 for the leaders again. Fredersen getting the longest period out front that he's had all day now, although it's not a very long stint up front just yet. He's still under pressure from Ericsson and Aronson behind them on those, well, not fresher tyres anymore, but certainly fresh ambition for him. He's third, and he's looking the quickest out of them all.
Yeah, he certainly is, and well, I think that's also, just factually with the situation as well of how strong, much confidence he's got. He is on equal playing field though at this point. He hasn't got that advantage anymore, and that would certainly help. But he has the ability to get to the front. Let's see the onboard coming through turns 3 and 4, completely different lines. Look at the amount of speed Ericsson's taking in there on the outside line. Pitches the car hard left, gets it down to the apex of 4, but not enough to make the move this time around. Now Aronson is the one sending it in. Crazy amount of banking, fast corners around here, and that is why we are seeing the high tyre wear as well. In the background, Blixt is making some moves. It looks like he's got past Fredriksson up into 6th place, so that's about 3 places made in the last 5-10 laps.
That's what you'd expect from Eric Blix, really. Running inside the top 5 for most of the opening part of this race, and he's looking to try and get there again. Is that Broström going another lap down? Yeah, it is. Number 71, now 2 laps down. Broström should be fine to make the round of 10, but it's not been a very good day here at Dover for him after the opening incidents in the first 5-10 laps. It did seem to cost Fredersen some of his lead as well, and he's about to have more of it costed here by Haken's shot.
Yes, it's always funny when you get these lap down drivers getting in the middle of it. Hockenheimy's trying as hard as he can, but his car is just not in one piece at all. He's been in the pit lane quite a few times to get some repairs, but I think it's going to take a few more cautions for him to try and get any sort of pace back in that car. He's circulating, just trying to get some points. The same for the likes of Linus Broström. He's 2 laps down now, involved in that first caution, but he just needs to keep on going and basically get the points. I mean, he's pretty good already, but just getting those points, staying out there on the track, is what he needs. Obviously moving forward as well when we get to the round of 10. This is Bohlin, who was looking so strong at one point in this race, but unfortunately that is turned on his head and he's now batting for P14. Skoglund ran his outside.
Just shows you how important strategy is in these races. You've got to get it absolutely right, and if you don't, then you'll be punished for it very quickly. That's what's happening to Oliver Bohlin. He needs a caution to save him in the next 15 laps or so. Even if it does, he's a long way down, 15th place. Same story for Forsland. He's 18th now, and he's the second last car on the lead lap. Both of those drivers, playoff contenders, trying to rescue their situations. At the moment, it's looking a bit more difficult, certainly for Bohlin, than what it has done for most of the race, where he's driven very well. This strategy misstep has certainly put a dampener on that.
Yes, I can't see how it can come back from this point, but we will see if and when cautions may change this. Is that Holmer once more just being ever so kind to his teammate in the 37. Oh, look at this. This is a bit of a cluster in front of these drivers. 4 cars there having their own battle, and of course maybe getting involved with the leaders. One of them was Kjellberg. He's about to go 2 laps down. We've got Forsen in there. He's about to go 1 lap down. So a mixture of drivers. I think there's Bratberg involved as well. So quite a few drivers, different laps, but hopefully they don't get involved with this lead battle.
It's about to get a lot worse for the leaders, compared to what they've had already. So this is where the race is going to be made or broken for the leaders, at least in this part, because of the amount of traffic. Is that Forsland in the wall there? It is. And Forsland goes one lap down. Surely that's going to be the end of it for him now. Started the day 13 points below the cut line. Hasn't scored a single bonus point. Now he's a lap down as well on old tyres.
Yes, and that is going to, that's going to really hinder his chances. Fortunately, he did the right thing there, where he went up into the wall, and it was almost as if he was turning right to keep in the wall to make sure he didn't come down on the leaders. So that was a very good thing, but it has not been the race that the 27 would have wanted. He was up into the top 10 on pure pace, but things have changed around very quickly with that spin a little bit earlier on, causing one of the cautions. So now the leaders are almost on the back. There's Ericsson going very, very high in the 35 machine, letting the leaders through. We now have Kjellberg and another driver, I think that's Bratberg, in the wall as well. To the inside, the one is going to have to go. It's actually quite risky in this situation. The back markers go up high. Fortunately, don't get too involved, but that could very easily have changed around. We've got Bratberg now coming up the inside of Kjellberg, and that is going to hinder Solo as the top three are going to get away a few car lengths.
Yeah, I was about to say that the old thing of the leader sort of concertinaing everything together again as to what we saw in that first long green flag run in the first half of the race was sort of happening again there, but Solo just slowed down by that last little bit of traffic as put him a little bit further behind the others. Either way, it is still 4 for the lead, just under a second apart. And it's remarkable how close they are all staying, considering the length of these green flag runs. This is now just over 30 laps into this one. They could still have another over 50 laps to go, but they will make it on fuel if they're forced to. I think, to be honest, everybody would like another caution before the end, to be honest, so they can put some new tyres on. But they don't need to pit again, and they won't be making a green flag stop today.
Yes, they're going to avoid the green flag stop where possible, so that's why it was a perfectly timed caution for them to come into the pit lane, and that is why Bohlin made the wrong choice this time around. Unfortunately, as we stay green flag, where is Bohlin in relation to... Oh no, he's about half a lap off, so he's not going to be lapped just yet or anytime soon, so that is what we want. Forsland now has actually gone behind Holmer, so he's not the lead of the lap down drivers, so he loses the lucky dog there as well. So not very ideal at all. Although, of course, Holmer is a playoff driver as well, as they are fighting themselves as they come into the round of 10 in a couple of weeks' time. Remember, we lose 5 drivers tonight, and just 10 will continue on with the championship charge.
So yeah, this is getting all of a sudden quite complicated. Suddenly, Peter Helmbro is by far and away the best playoff driver in the field in terms of points, but even if he scores what he's scoring at the moment, which give him 44 for the day, I don't think that's going to be enough. He would just get ahead of Kenneth Tier. Hagman is high enough to get ahead of him again. In fact, anybody who's actually finishing here today should still have enough points to get ahead. Maybe not Hack and Shot, actually. Maybe he'd get ahead of him. But effectively, if Helmbro's only going to get a top 5, he needs everybody to drop down to the sort of outside the top 25 themselves. And that would require an accident from pretty much everybody else in the playoff standings. That's not going to happen. What he needs in that case, then, is a win, really, I would say. Otherwise, he's only going to realistically get ahead of Fairbairn Forsland, and that would only give him 14th.
Yeah, because of course he was 26 points below the line, but it's not just about getting those points, it's about getting those points extra relative to everyone else. So it's a tough battle indeed, especially for a driver who he's had a couple of podiums this season, to be fair, but he hasn't had the standout results that he'd have wanted to make his life a little bit easier at this point in the championship. But it's still a really good job to be fighting at least to get inside the round of 10 of any championship that goes over this many months. You have to really put in a big stint. I mean, we're what, 7 months into this championship now, so it's a long time, many races, a lot of hours put into it, so it's really good to get at least some reward from that.
Yeah, it is. And at the end of this round, we are only going to have 10, and then obviously in a couple of rounds we'll have only 5 as well at the end of this very long regular season which we had to start with. This is further back, by the way, to Bjorn Broström and Marcus Hagman. Hagman, one of those who is in and around the battle for those points. Bjorn Broström not involved, as he's in the number 41 car. He's just trying to work his way past at the moment, but can't quite do it. 15 seconds behind the leaders. The field again getting really, really stretched out now in a very long green flag run. Don't think this is quite the longest of the day just yet, but we are getting there. We are getting there in terms of a very long green flag run. Still quite a long way to go though as well. Just over 40 laps still remaining.
Yeah, so we've done 41 on the stint, and as you say, we've got, what's that, about 44 remaining, so we have to go the same distance again since that most recent green flag, and therefore I am expecting a few things here and there still to happen into this race, because yes, it obviously has quieted down a little bit out on the track as they've spread out a little bit. However, the tyres, we've still got some way to go. We are at that point of being about 1.5 seconds approximately off the pace, so we have another 1 to 2 seconds still remaining in the tyres to be dropped, and we all know when that happens, crashes are very, very likely to happen. But at the front, lap 145, Haflidsson leads. He's got Ericsson in behind. They are pulling away from Ericsson, your regular season champion, and even a bit further behind, we are starting to lose drivers. The top 6 have pulled away as Blix has got ahead of Fredriksson by about 3.5 seconds now, so the 95 is looking strong. But I do think we are waiting for a couple of drivers to have a few little moments, and this might be one of them. Look at this gaggle of cars. Tommy Alto just at the back end of the top 10 trying to get past his teammate.
Yeah, this is the lower end of the top 10 for Cedric Holmbob, who I've just done some maths, by the way. He would be pretty comfortably in 8th place in the field. So that would see him through at the moment by quite a margin, actually, as well. That would see him through. Oh, hello, off of... sorry, I was looking away there. It looks like Bratberg, though, going very slowly off of 4.
Yeah, he just got high into the wall. Couple of drivers sliding past him. Bohlin and I was about to say Kjellberg, but actually they're a lap down, so that's why the order on the track is slightly different to what we saw actually. But a couple of drivers there getting past. So, but most importantly for Bratberg, that was Bohlin. Because the reason why that's important is because obviously in terms of the order of where they are a lap down, and then getting that opportunity potentially later on to get laps back and things like that could be important should we get a caution, as we have 40 laps remaining here. Miles the Monster 300 by Molby Hibila, and it's been a crazy one so far actually. So far we've had quite a few cautions. We've had the big crash at the beginning that took out a couple of the playoff drivers, and now we're having the 13 get past the 37. Solo, he's a dark horse for this race, I tell you what. He's got some speed in that Alcantech machinery, and he's just got past Jesper Eriksson.
Yeah, he is a dark horse, really. He's not been out front too much. He led just about 10 laps earlier on, but now he's starting to come to the fore again and passing Ericsson, which is interesting. I wonder whether Ericsson's just pacing himself here and whether he's going to come back again. I find it difficult to believe that his long run speed is poor, really. So with 37 to go, I think he's just scaling it back for now for him to then rise to the fore and go a little bit quicker again later on. Just seems to be managing his tyres right now because there is so far still to go.
Yes, that is a fair point actually. Maybe it's at this point not necessarily that he's struggling, but he's just being cautious, thinking we still got 30 odd laps to go. Let's just keep it.
Wallin's in. We've got 90 laps gone. Sorry, Wallin's in. He was still making the playoffs as it stood, but only by 4 points ahead of Magnus Hagman. If he loses more positions, which he's about to, then he's going to be outside of those playoff point top 10. Sorry, at the moment, as he's making a painful green flag stop.
Oh, this is bad news, because if we go green flag to the end, he's going to be a couple of laps down. But if we get a caution, then he's not going to get those laps back, and even if he did, everyone's going to have fresh tyres and he's not. So basically he's screwed, unfortunately. That's unfortunately not the way that he would have wanted to bow out of the playoffs, but I don't see how he's going to be able to recover from this.
No, I don't either. The maximum I can see him getting is 19th, which is 2 laps down. It's going to be faster than everybody, by the way. So he is going to get back to 19th again. That would get him to 3 points behind Hagman. So at the moment, the 3 going through from the 8 we were debating, obviously we think the top 7 are going to be in the clear. I think at the moment it's going to be Holmbaum, who is quite comfortably above the cut line. Holmer, who's still doing all right, even though he's very much towards the back end of the lead lap. Also Hagman as well, by only 3 points. If Bohlin gets those couple of positions back, then he's got a chance, but he'd still be a point behind, even with 19th.
Oh, that's tough. That is tough, and I still would love to see the onboard from that situation. Was it just an unfortunate missed time because it was so late, the call to go to the pit lane from everyone else, and being in that second place, he didn't have as much time as the people in third and fourth to react to Ericsson as well. So it was a tough one, but maybe he should have been expecting it. I'm not so sure. They'll have to look into that one, which is a shame because Bohlin, I mean, I would have said he was one of the drivers, midway through the season. I would have said he's got the, some potential to get even into the final race, the final 5. So, he will come back stronger next season, I'm sure. He was very strong this time last year. He worked his way towards the front, had some good results, had the confidence to come into this season. Maybe one more year is what he needs to have a championship charge.
It's a real shame. As I say, not over yet. He's now into 19th place, so as it stands, and Falzen's in, so he's about to be up to 18th place. That's going to put Bohlin 2 points behind Hagman, unless Hagman gained a place as well himself, which he might have done. I wasn't quite paying attention. I'll redo the maths again, but it's going to be difficult. Here comes Blix on the inside of Helmbro, by the way. Helmbro's still, now he is actually, he is still only 14th, despite the fact he's having such a good race. He's still a long way down. It might be 13th, actually. It's somewhere around there anyway. And, he needs a win, put it that way. And at the moment, it's going the wrong way for him as well.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter if he's 12th, 14th, etc. He's not 10th, which unfortunately is the place that he needs. And it's one of those things. If you miss the cut, it doesn't really matter if you miss it by a point or 10 or 20. He just because he missed the last race, didn't he? So he missed out on quite a few points there, and whether that was circumstantial or just unavoidable if he was sick or something, bit of a shame. But he's coming strong in this championship. Actually, he was fairly strong last year. He's now got a couple of pole positions to his name, a couple of podiums, and I think he is going to be one to improve next season as well. We're seeing some battles a bit lower down. This is Tommy Alto. He's got Bohlin, who's a lap down, maybe even 2 laps down, coming past him on some fresher tyres. Look at the grip that he's got in that 43. Yeah,
it's just so much grip on new tyres here at this circuit. Drop off very, very severe, and so watch out for that over these next few laps, by the way. Blix, another one of those drivers who looks like he might have well been pacing himself here early on, because all of a sudden he's looking pretty quick here as he now moves to the inside of Jesper Ericsson and moves into 4th place. Is that going to be a constant improvement for 95, or is he going to eventually be in trouble with the tyre wear late on? Still 25 laps to go here. You can't exactly push on like we're in the final few laps. You've still got to be very careful on those tyres as we complete lap 162.
I am starting to get concerned for that 37 machine. Just has another wiggle and is going to be, I was going to say losing another place, but that is Bohlin, who's laps down, who goes up the inside of Blixt as well, as they all go past Hagman. Oh my word. So much going out there with different grips out there on the track. The 37 still sliding. He was very aggressive early on in all of the stints, and maybe that's just coming back to bite him. A couple of tenths here, a couple of tenths there. As Blixt, I think, Blixt and Solo, really look out for them. They're 3 seconds off the lead, but I think look out for these guys challenging Hafley and Aronson for the win in 20-odd laps time. Although Hafley in the number 1 machine is looking very strong. We haven't spoken about him in a while, which is a good thing if you're leading.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. If he leads the last 80 laps, by the way, and wins the race, that'd be astonishing. The last 75 or whatever it's going to be. That's a big slide off of turn 2. And there's all sorts going on behind Lucas Holmer in here. It's not for position, clearly. That's Tommy Alto being overtaken. What is going on further down, by the way, is Oliver Bohlin closing on Daniel Holmer. Now, the reason that's important is not for Holmer particularly. He's pretty safe right now. But if Bohlin gains one more place, he'll be tied with Hagman. And then what do we do? I don't know what's going to happen if they're tied for 10th place. But that's what would happen if Bohlin gets past Holmer here. 4.5 seconds behind him at the moment.
Yeah, that means we need to turn to the rule book, aka Linus Broström. But unfortunately, he's out there on the track at the moment, and I would assume it comes back to sort of like a best result or something along those lines. So, but look at the speed that he's got. He's going to actually unlap himself. Just looking, yeah, he's going to unlap himself. He's already done so. So he's now got that extra lap back. He's just one lap down, and he's going to be coming very fast on the drivers ahead of him. Here is Holmgren inside your top 10. P8 currently, and all caution comes out. 20 to go.
Oh wow!
Who has caused this? And of course, it'll be fresh tyres for everyone. That is a bit of a shame for Bohlin, who of course had that green flag stop.
It could be Skoglund, who's dropping down the field at the moment. Hagman actually got an extra position in the last couple of moments, by the way, so he's now 2 points ahead of Bohlin again. It's really those two we're focusing on here for points, by the way, because Hackenschott is the next closest and he can't do anything with the state his car's in.
Oh!
And Hellbro too far back. Sorry. Oh, hello.
Look at the smoke out there on the track. That motor is not going to get to the end of this race. So the 83, I would assume. Oh, and there goes the hood. Yeah. That is not going to be getting it. There may be 20 laps to go, 20 miles, but I don't think that car is going to be going too much further. Unfortunately, I just missed the beginning of that, but was there some contact on his rear left corner and enough to just send him hard down into the wall? Is this a difference of speed? I think it is. Way more grip.
Is that Bohlin?
Was it Wallet? I think it might have been. It might have been the 72 there. And that is not good news because he was just about to get back on the lead lap get back to one lap down from 2, and that was his real only hope of anything towards the end, but now that has killed his chances.
Yeah, so he's had to stay out there. He will get the wave around to get back to one lap down, and it'll be with Marcus Hagman as well, so then things get complicated. Meanwhile, the pit stops are on, and Vlissner gets back out in front, so then it'll be Alriksson, then Blix is third. He's jumped solo by the looks of that. Ericsson will be 5th, and he'll be really fiery on this restart because he looked pretty good on a short run earlier. Bjorn Broström is still running around the outside. He's still out there for some reason on 67 lap-old tyres. He is going to rejoin on the lead lap as well. But in terms of where Hagman and Bohlin are, we will monitor those in a moment because Hagman has had to come in to make a pit stop. He will have some fresher tyres, but he'll need some positions by the looks of this on the restart.
Yes, certainly will. Interesting choice, as you say, from a couple to stay out, the likes of Broström. But if you can try and make something work, then you can make something work. But the fresh tyres here, especially compared to that age of tyre, are going to be quite incredible. I mean, that incident that we saw from Bohlin causing the caution was purely just the difference in grip. Just driving off the corner, he could get the power down, and unfortunately Skoglund could not with the more worn tyres. So we're going to have just about 16 laps to the end of the race when we get going, and it is going to be a fast, frantic fight, all on fresh tyres. And because it's only that short amount of time, they can just push 100% to the end of the race.
Yeah, they certainly can. And that is going to mean for a very exciting restart indeed. We'll try and keep an eye on those guys who are one lap down, but as things stand, with limited options for Hagman to make overtakes, it's pretty unlikely that he's going to go through in this situation. Hagman needs to finish 3 positions ahead of Bohlin, because on a tie, I think the tiebreaker would go to Bohlin, as he's won twice this season.
Indeed, Bohlin, strong driver. Pace truck comes in. The Miles the Monster 300 does have another twist in the tail, as we're going to see Hafnarson. He's led so much of this second part of the race. He's been so strong. He's got his teammate pushing him up towards the front as well. Ericsson has had a terrible start on that outside line. That might open up the door for the likes of Ericsson to come through on that inside. He's got his teammate Fredriksson lined up behind him as well. Helmbro's looking strong, trying to make a move up the inside of Fredriksson, but he's going to be your regular season champion getting past into third.
Yeah, Ericsson through. Winner 2 weeks ago, by the way. If he could win here today as well, he'd put himself in a great position for the round of 10 as well. In terms of playoff points, that's Holmgren and Helmbro getting very close indeed. 77 car really requiring a win, but he's going backwards here on this restart.
Certainly is, and there's into the wall goes one of the Sim Race Sweden cars, and that is not what you want to do. I think that was Holmer, and he's losing out. He's got a couple of his teammates, Otto Wildeber, who are going to be coming up the inside there. That is a terrible time of the race to do it. Otto into the wall again. We're seeing that's Otto this time around.
So 2 laps in a row, 2 cars in the wall. Holmer in first time round, and Tommy Otto second time round. Now he's going to be shuffled to the back end of this group and back into 9th place, which is not particularly ideal. So, well, dearie me, what a chaotic couple of moments for the teammates there running in the midfield. As again, sliding, Tommy Otto's all over the place.
Maybe slightly overheating those tyres and just pushing to the absolute limit. Lap 174 we're on. It is an Alcantech 1-2 as they lead the way. Ericsson is doing his best to try and counteract that. Helmbro's still looking strong up here in P6. Remember, he really needs a win. He's got to keep within a shout in case anything happens in front. And more cars into the wall. These guys need to calm down. Wildeber this time. The 3 teammates all in the wall.
Unbelievable stuff further on in the background of this top 10 as Jesper Ericsson tries to make a move on Eric Blix. He was having a great long run in that 95, but Ericsson has got very good speed, especially in the short term. And down the inside through 3 and 4, he's up to second place. He grabs the wall though, and Blix is going to go back to the inside.
How many times have we seen that this race from Ericsson? He's not loving the balance of his car, I don't think, today. He's really been struggling with that one, but he has been fast in the opening stages of every stint. So let's see if that is enough with just 11 laps to hold on. Blix, I should say, has dropped off the back by a good few car lengths, and all this is doing is allowing Hafliderson to get to the front. A non-playoff driver taking that automatic spot away from some of these drivers, although the ones behind, of course, looking good on points, apart from Helmbro, who's still sitting pretty there in 6th.
Well, he's still going all right, is Helmbro in 6th place, but he still needs a lot more than that, to be honest. He's right around that 13th, 14th, 15th kind of region. He's not even really very near the cut line for now. That is still Bohlin and Hagman. Bohlin on the right side of it as it stands. Hagman just on the wrong side. 3 points is all Bohlin has over Hagman, but there's only 3 cars on their lap, which is going to make things very difficult. Patrick Pfeffer's got the free pass as well, not Hagman, so it's looking even more difficult now as we enter the final 10 laps of this race.
Oh, wow, they are really pushing. Everyone is wiggling around there out on the track as the opportunities, of course, diminish as the laps go on. But you never know. If someone goes into the wall, you can easily gain spots here. It's been a crazy race so far. We are spreading out quite a bit actually towards the front as drivers really are putting in some times. So yeah, the lap times are looking very strong indeed, still into the 23-second margin. There is Linus Broström losing a position to Kjellberg, and Broström, or maybe not, he holds on the outside line, but Broström, he's just going out there for the points. He's second in the championship as we speak. Just needs to finish and make sure he gets those points, and of course he's looking very strong. Still a championship contender despite how this race has gone.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be 6th at the end of this race by my reckoning because of the incident. Primarily he was caught up in the very opening laps of this race, in the first 10 laps or so, which really put paid to the chances of Hakan's shot earlier, even though he started the day 2 points above the cut line. He was almost immediately written off there in that incident, unfortunately for him, so he'll be out of it. This is Tony Huberden, who only just missed out on making the belt as we got a car spun to the inside.
We do. We don't get a caution though, so that is an important one for how we're going to finish this race. Just 5 laps remaining here at Dover. It has been a crazy race, and Hafliderson now is leading by 1.7 seconds at the front. In the last lap, he was 6/10 quicker than Ericsson and Blixt. He's absolutely romping off into the distance. More cars into the wall as Ericsson goes down another position. He's really starting to struggle in this stint, and is that going to open up the doors to Aronson, who at one point was looking completely out of it on strategy, but he's now battling for a podium.
Well, Alexander Aronson has turned it around here, unlike what Bohlin has done in terms of the actual race result. Ericsson has turned this around here with some good calls when he needed them. And these new tyres are working quite well for him late on. 4 to go, including the one they're on at the moment. Outside line, can't do it there. He'll switch back to the inside. No, can't get through on Jesper Eriksson that time round.
And this is allowing Blix to get through. Oh, it's the 14 of Knell. He goes into the wall, but he doesn't spin around past the 90, and that is why we stay green flag. Perfect, really, for us to get this awesome opportunity to have a run to the finish. Lap 185. Eriksson trying to find his way through. Peter Helmbro coming through. Can he nick a podium and do anything he can to get some points, and hoping for some incidents ahead in the final couple of laps here at the Monster Mile?
He is having a fantastic day right now, Peter Helmbro. A really good race to end the season. He's only been inside the top 5 3 times so far. If he could do it again, that would be a great way to end the season for him, even if his charge for the championship positions is going to be effectively over in 13th or 14th place at the end of the day. Eriksson again has a look at the inside of Eriksson. That will open up a line for Helmbro here if he wants it. He can't do it though, as the white flag is ready. One more lap to go here at Dover.
And it's going to be Haflidsson leading the way. Helmbro, big move to the inside of Eriksson as they go 3 wide through turns 1 and 2. Helmbro up the inside. He gets himself onto the podium place. Can he keep it there down this back straightaway? 2 corners to go. It won't be enough for the championship, but it might be enough for a podium. And out of the final corner, Haflidsson, he's dominated the second half of the race. He wins Miles the Monster 300 here at Dover. Eric Blixt in second place, and Jesper Eriksson just holding on to third place. And I think Peter Helmbro, yes, keeps that 4th position. Great result from the 77 machine, holding off Eriksson to the line.
Fantastic result from him. Won't be enough in the end, but a great showing to finish the 6th there from Peter Helmbro. It's all behind a great showing, though, from Michael Fersen, sort of showing what he can do almost. A bit of a throwback from him almost, leading the last 75, 80 odd laps of that race, by the way, which is the longest period anybody spent in the lead today. And dominated the second half, or certainly the last third of that one. Fantastic win for him.
And look at that, only 5 playoff drivers inside the top 10. Crazy, crazy stuff here at Dover. 187 laps, you get a green flag finish. Haflidsson wins from Blixt and Alcantech 1-2. Eriksson, Helmbro and Eriksson round out your top 5, with Oscar Fredriksson a strong result in P6, keeps his championship hopes alive. He'll move into the round of 10. Holmgren, Uvenen, Alto and Woodaba round out your top 10. Solo and Holmbom just miss out on a P10, and they are the final drivers on the lead lap. Broström, Pfeffer, Bohlin, Hagman, Holmer, Wallin, Broström and Kjellberg round out your top 20. And then we get, obviously the drivers now quite a few laps down. Bratberg, Eriksson, Forsen 7 laps down the end. And then the drivers who really had some issues today, Schott and Skoglund, Knell, 38 laps down, but he kept on going as much as he could. Leppert, Tier, Lundberg and Gunnarsson, your top 30. And then just one final page of Dan Paples, who was looking strong. He was up into P4 in those opening stages of the race, but unfortunately not able to continue on past the opening couple of laps. What a crazy race that was. Let's get some reaction, and let's bring in the number 1 machine of Michael Haflidsson. Michael, you won this race last year. You're looking very strong once again today, but just how crazy was that opening, really the opening half of the race, the first half of the race with all those cautions?
Yeah, it was crazy. I told my teammates beforehand, we're not going to go full green like we did last season. There's no way that's going to happen, and straight away we had a caution. But it was just about saving the tires in the beginning, honestly, and let Jesper and Bohlin fight it out as best they want, and just try to make something at the end when their tires were gone.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking of Jesper, of course, a big rival for you in this championship. You had a bit of a battle there with him for some time, but you seem to have the edge. Were you just very confident at this track, or do you think he was doing something wrong?
I don't know. I was very confident coming into this round. Obviously, knowing that I've been quick here before helps a lot with the confidence, but also, I know from last time that I qualified bad and I did a good race because I managed to keep my tires alive better than the others. And I think it was the same with this car.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you're not going for the championship this year, but you are looking strong. Moving on forwards into the round of 10, you're looking very strong. We go to Richmond next. Are you going to be still trying to get those wins, or are you now going to be trying to help Eric? Because I believe he's now second place in the championship.
I mean, I'm going to help the guys, of course. I mean, that's the only reason I have for driving, basically. But for today, like, most of them were safe already. No one really needed a win since they were so good in the points. So I could take the opportunity to go for a win today. But yeah, next week, like, if nothing happens, I'm not going to win.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's great to see you back in victory lane once more, 2 years in a row here at Dover. Congratulations, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you. Have a good one.
No worries. And then, of course, we will bring in his teammate of Eric Blix, the 95 machine. So consistent. I mean, Eric, you really are Mr. Consistent this year. Your results have been amazing since you came into the championship halfway through. And once again, the 95 looks strong. You did have to work for it, though. You spent a lot of time down, P10 in those sorts of battles. Just how was it fighting with all those guys who were going little bit crazy in the midfield?
Yeah, I mean, we got pancaked in the start there. I think Carlson tried to get by a car on the old tires. I wasn't really going to let him do it, but yeah, lost about 20 laps worth of tires, it felt like. But we managed to pick one of them off, even though they were not really wanting me to pass, but got it through, caught up to the lead pack in the end. And it was actually closer than I expected it to be, to be honest. So that was at least nice to see that I didn't lose the lead pack completely.
And just how do you like this track? Because, I mean, from our perspective in the commentary booth, it was probably one of the best races of the season. The action was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice track. It's a very skill-based track. It's not like the regular cookie cutters. We just, like Vegas, you just save tires and hope you have the best tires towards the end. Here's, for sure, like, the tires are very important, but you can kind of race around it. You can switch up the lanes. You can work with the car a little bit and hopefully work the tires better than the competitors. And
I need to ask you about the final tire stop. It's about sort of like 89-ish laps to go, and everyone came in, but it was so last minute. Were you planning to do that, or was it just Jesper coming in at basically the last meter that he could that triggered it?
I mean, we tricked Jesper once, so we thought, why not twice? Unfortunately, he was very quick on the reactions. We couldn't fit without him.
Yeah,
it was kind of like a Darlington call. Like, you either take tires now, hope that there won't be any new guys saving tires for the final, whatever caution or not. So it is like a 50-50. But this one felt like it's better to have a long run capability towards the end.
Yeah, and it certainly worked out for you. So congratulations. You got an All-Consec 1-2, and we'll see you in the round of 10.
Yeah, see ya.
And now we will bring in Jesper Eriksson, the number 37. And Jesper, I mean, you had such an incredible first half of the race. Unfortunately, it didn't quite go your way in terms of the race win in the second half. But let's just talk about the first opening couple of stints. I mean, you were so strong at the front. Your fight with Oliver was pretty incredible to watch.
Yeah, I mean, for the first part, I personally just wanted to get as many points for the team, get a lead lap, get the stage win. So that was fine, and I just wanted to race. I mean, I'm through to the next part, so not much else I can do. I just race here and try to get as much points as possible. So that was just my plan. Be a team player.
Yeah, it seemed to work out pretty well, though you were always very strong in the opening 20-30 laps of the stint, but obviously as it went on you sort of fell away a little bit. Was that just pushing the tires a little bit too much?
Yeah, for sure. I don't have an experience in this car on this track, so I really didn't know the tires, and they were so sensitive. If you just slid the rears in the beginning, you got oversteer throughout the stint, and if you push the front, you just understeered. So it was a hard combo learning the tires, but it was plenty of fun. And yeah, for me, just pushing the tires way too much.
And of course, you're looking very strong in terms of the points. But just what can you do to stop the charge of, for instance, like the Ilkentech guys? You got Blixt now, I believe, in second place, provisionally in the championship. I mean, they are coming for you.
They are. They have been for all of the years. So I mean, just keep up the pace, keep up the momentum, and try to be there in the championship race. And then everything can happen. So we'll see. Just make it to the final and all will be well, I hope.
And Richmond next time out. How are you feeling for that track?
Love that track. It's a short track and I quite love short tracks. So it's going to be plenty of fun.
Good stuff. Yeah, we certainly can't wait to see you out there on track. You gave us amazing action today. So yeah, congrats on your podium. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, boys.
And that concludes the interviews today for the Miles the Monster 300. Crazy scenes, loads of cautions out there, but a great green flag run to the end. That's all Haflidason taking victory here, as he did 1 year ago. But that's it from the round of 15. We lose 5 drivers, which provisionally is Forsland, Tyr, Helmro, Schott, and Marcus Hogman. So it will be Bohlin and Holmer just sneaking their way through, along with Holmbaum, Gunnarsson, Broström, Fredriksson, Solo, Arvidsson, Blixt, and Ericsson. So that's been your round of 15. We move to the round of 10 in a couple of weeks' time. We go to Richmond on the 10th of April. But of course, the Road Course Series returns next week as well. Same time, same place here on RaceSpotTV as we go to Spa-Francorchamps. It's been myself, Cam Roger, Yuna Leary alongside me, and Hugo Louise on the production of this RaceSpotTV broadcast. And until next time, we wish you a very warm goodbye.